What's up, guys? We're going to do a pipeline series of videos here. Instead of me trying to compile everything about pipeline in one video and dragging it out for an hour long, I'm going to break it down to you. So this will be the first video in the series. If you want to follow along for more videos as I make them, because this is my first one I'm making, so I'll make the series as I go. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell next to it on my channel. That way you can be notified anytime I upload a video or we make a lot of live videos at any given time of the day or night. We just hop on live and discuss things. So I'm going to start off with this video. This video is basically just what is pipeline. That's all I'm going to get into on this video. What is pipeline? Alright, pipeline is not the same as an oil rig as far as land rigs, rigs out in the ocean. It's not the same as the oil field like you hear. It's not the same as a refinery. Pipeline is a full-time job. It's not 2 on, 2 off, or 3 on, 1 off, to where you get paid for the whole month, but you only work half the month. And I'll get into the pay rates on the next video. So pipeline's a full-time job. Pipeline is a traveling job. You're going to travel around a lot. Jobs usually last anywhere from 2 months to 8 months to a year on one job, usually somewhere in between there, and then you're going to be moving to another job. So you need to be prepared to travel. And I also will have a video letting you know what is the best and the most efficient, cost-efficient way of living this life. Also, jobs are not guaranteed. You know, it's like the wild west out here, man. Jobs pop up, you have to take them on the spot. If not, they find somebody else. So if you get a job offer and you're still working on another job and you have to try and time it out just right for that one to end to get to the next one, it's not easy to do, but it's doable once you learn the system. And once you get contacts in the business and people text you and call you about a job, and you learn which ones are which and which companies are the best to work for, and then you go from there. But this isn't the settle down and work here for 20 years for one company type of job. There are people that do it, but I've only met a handful. So it's not, and they do have benefits with all these companies. You know, usually it's 60 to 90 days with a company, and then you're on health insurance and 401k and insurance for your family, and it's just you have to put in a certain amount of time, as with any job. Pipeline is very tough on family. If you're young and single, it's my top recommendation of any career out there. It's quick, fast money. I mean, it's the easiest way to make 6 digits a year straight out of high school with no training whatsoever and nothing in your hands. I mean, you just bring yourself and you make the money. If you're a family man like me, you know, I didn't even start till I was 37 years old. I'm just now 38. Never even seen a pipeline before. Now I'm making very good money as an operator, but it's caused a lot of stress and a lot of heartache with my family. Matter of fact, I'm going through a divorce right now. It's not strictly because of pipeline, but it's a big part of it, being away from home. You know, out of a year, out of 12 months, I probably spend at my house back home total 2 weeks, 3 weeks out of an entire 12 months. The rest of the time I'm working. So if you're a family man like me, be prepared for that. Especially your very first job, if you're used to being at home every night with your kids and your wife, it's very strenuous on you. You know, I'm a strong-willed guy, but it's hard on a grown man when you have to FaceTime your children at nighttime and your wife, and then it leads to a lot of depression on the pipeline. A lot of people fall back to drinking a lot, and they just sit around their camper or their hotel or whatever and do a lot of drinking to try and drown out the misery, I guess you would say. And so it's a tough life. Don't get it twisted and think it's all glory. It's not by any means. You know, the work is easy, but the hours are long. I mean, there's even as a entry-level position as a labor hand or a welder's helper, the work really isn't hard, man. It's very little physical labor. You do on certain days have to put in some physical labor, but it's not like you're out there from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. with a shovel in your hand going to town. Most of the time it's boring work. You think it's boring, but I'll get into that once I'm going to make a video about the labor hand and the welder helper, the two entry-level positions in the pipeline. But it's easy work, man. It's easy work, a lot of money, but there's a reason why they pay so well out here, is because of 99% of people do not live here or wherever you may. I'm in West Texas right now, but whether you're in North Dakota or Texas or Louisiana or even up in Oklahoma, I mean, everything that's the hot spots right now, most people that work on pipeline don't live there because you're traveling so much. So the most ideal situation, which a buddy of mine does, he has his wife and kid with him, and they travel the country together. You know, they started off with nothing, with just a couple $100s that they borrowed from an uncle 8 years ago, and now I'd be surprised if they don't have $100 grand in the bank right now. $80,000 camper. She drives a $75,000 Denali HD. He's got a $90,000 2019 Platinum F-250. Their kid is homeschooled, but he's got to see the entire country, and he's smarter than any kid I've ever met his age. So it works for certain people. It doesn't work for others. Like my wife doesn't want to be in a camper. So if it doesn't work, then it just doesn't work, and you have to figure things around it. But that's the ideal candidate for this job. Anybody can do it as long as you got decent physical. I mean, as long as you're physically healthy. They don't want anybody out here that's going to fall over and die, because in the summertime, that heat will wear you the hell out. In the wintertime, it gets cold depending on where you're at. You're going to be on your feet all day long. You're going to do a lot of walking. Pipeline is just straight line walking. I think I averaged 7-8 miles a day when I was a labor hand. My first job in East Texas last summer. You know, I consider myself in pretty good shape, especially for my age, and it's not going to beat me. So, but don't come out here if you're bad out of shape, or if you have health problems, or if you have a lot of family problems at home, and you come out here and you think the money's going to make it better. It's not, man. It's going to tear your family apart. So make sure you have a good, strong family bond before you make this commitment, because it's a commitment. Even though you can walk away at any time, the money's great, man. And I'll make another video about the money, about what the average pay is for each position, and what to do and what not to do with that money. It'll be your choice ultimately, and most people choose the wrong way to handle that kind of money. But I'm going to let you know what happens if you handle it wrong, and what happens if you handle it right. But that's basically all this video is going to go over, is just what is pipeline. And that's why I'm telling you right now, you're literally just laying pipe in the ground. It's a lot more steps involved. You got to do the clearing process, then you got to come through and they dig ditch, and then they got to come lay out the pipe, and then the welders got to come through and weld up the pipe, and then the inspectors, and then they have to x-ray it all and code it all, and then you got your operators coming back from clearing, going back around at the beginning of the line and start dropping in pipe, and then you got to cover it all up, and then you got to do the finish work. And you know, the goal with pipeline, it's not a nasty job at all. Like they're very particular about anything. You don't leave any trash behind, no spills. The OSHA, which is the regulations and stuff, and they have inspectors out there watching your every move. When that job is complete, they usually just lease land from whoever owns it. They lease a, let's say, 50-foot wide up to 150-foot wide stretch of land, wherever it curves and bridges water. When it's done, that land will look like it was never touched. They come back and they reseed grass, and they make sure all the grade is right, they make sure drainage is correct, they put up new fences. It's a very, very strict process and very meticulous, and it runs like a smooth oiled machine from start to finish. So if you get out here and you're a green hand, as in somebody new, it's going to work so fast around you, and it'll blow your mind at how efficient this whole system runs and how many positions work seamlessly together and get the job done. So that's it for this video. Like I said, I'll continue on. My next video will be about if you're new to pipeline, what do you need and what is a waste of money. So if you got a little bit of money saved away and you're wondering, what do I have to have right now, and then what is a waste of money to spend money on right now, that's what the next video will be about. The video after that will be about the money. I'm going to explain the money in every position, what to expect, the top end and the bottom end of the money scale, and then of course what to do and what not to do with the money you make. And then I'll get into the entry-level positions, which is labor hand and a welder's helper. They're both start at the bottom. And I'll go through that whole process. Then I'll go up to the next position, which is which I skipped this one because I wasn't a general laborer. I was a spotter, swamper, but straw boss, who's in charge of the labor hands. Then you got the operators and the welders. That's the next level up, and we go two completely different ways. Like me and welders, we don't cross paths as far as we're the next level up from a labor hand and a welder helper, but we chose two different routes on the same pipeline. So I'll get into all that. And then of course my next goal is to be a foreman, which is you run a whole crew, and there's benefits to that, and then there's also headache involved, because as an operator, I'll get into that position, but it's a lot less headache for a little bit less money. And then an inspector, and then superintendent. So I'm going to go through each position, and then the positions I've never been a part of, I'm going to interview people that have been doing it for a long time. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to turn this into a good video series here, and we're going to break it down into 15 minutes or less per video. But feel free to comment with any questions or anything you think I missed, and I'd be glad to answer them. And like I said, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell next to it, because we make live videos just sporadically, and I upload videos on no type of schedule. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching, and stay tuned for future videos on pipeline. Thanks. One more thing, guys, be sure to check in the description of the video. I tag Oilfield Job Shop. It's a guy that reached out to me. He has a good website going, good social media presence. For those of you looking to get into the pipeline business, be sure to go check out the Facebook page and check out the link of their website. And that's one of my supporters, and I've checked out his page. Seems like they got a good thing going. So y'all go check it out. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, thank you.